President Biden. Um, you're probably watching the Super Bowl. It is, what time is it here? Let me see. It's 8 minutes before 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I was just thinking as I read through different articles that talk about the housing crisis in Utah and what others are doing in Idaho, which is where I'm recording this video from. And I was reflecting back on the days when I was a student at Weber State University with a master's in criminal justice. I was so excited. I wanted to make a difference, and I just could never understand why there was so much disparity between what I learned in college and how our justice system works. It took me quite a bit of time to understand that our justice system is framed to support white supremacy. The same problems that existed in the United States many hundreds of years ago, even before I moved here. The same type of white dominance that frowned upon everybody else who is not white. It's still here. It's still operative in our local courts and other institutions, churches, schools, you name it. And so I thought, wow, that's why it's systemic racism, because it's just everywhere. And so, what is the solution? First of all, I have to say that I understand that the job of dismantling white supremacy in the United States can be dangerous, because this is how some people have made profits for decades, and to have that taken away from them, I can't imagine what would happen. So I'm not exactly sure what could possibly come out of your plans to lift the marginalized and treat them like human beings. I'm not exactly sure, but I guess it's an honorable job that you're doing. So let me go back to the suggestion I have in mind. Not too long ago. Well, let me start back with Weber State. When I was being deported from the United States in a process that was ended by the Court of Appeals, I learned at that time, when I was fighting for my diploma, I learned that white supremacy was more prominent in the United States than I had anticipated. You see, you have to imagine that coming from Africa, coming from apartheid, coming from the United States, I thought I had all the freedom, everything I had seen in the news. I finally had it. So even when others were saying, you're worried that Weber State is not fixing your diploma, that the rates are incorrect, you're missing the point. This is not a computer glitch. It has to do with the white supremacy that has been a problem since before you came to the United States. This is what my colleagues were telling me. They said this is not the issue. Even a kindergarten child would know to fix the problem. They would know that this is not how to spell Victoria's name. You don't have the right documents here. Even then, I think I was still in denial. I had come to the land of freedom, and what else was missing? And I had a master's in criminal justice. The system was in place, and if I had any problems, I went to court. And I was so shocked that judges totally dismissed the truth. They disregarded the laws of evidence. Everything was so bizarre. And it even scared me when that happened. And I thought, are you kidding me? Is this the United States that I read about? Is this the country that sells freedom and democracy overseas in other countries? Is this the one? I can't even get justice here at our local court. Anyway, forget that one about Weber State, because I ultimately got my diploma, but it was not through the court filings in the local courts, not even in the Supreme Court. I used activism to get my documents. And so, not too long ago, in a situation I had with Wells Fargo, where the issue was one of my colleagues had asked me inappropriate questions about my hair. That ended up in court, and some of my fellow Americans were saying, you'll never get justice in the United States courts. There's no justice here. This case won't be heard. That's what they told me. They said, you're not going to have a trial. You're a black person in the United States. Why don't you get about this? I still remained hopeful. And then came the issue about the apartments where I used to live, Callaway Apartments. I fled violence there. And one of the Utah senators, who is also a lawyer and a landlord, and I don't know what else he does. Maybe sells oil, I have no clue. When he came after me for rent, after I had fled, no, sorry. I'm gonna say, after I had flown a kite, no. After I had fled violence, when he was asking for money for rent for the last month, I was wondering, and I said, why are people so insensitive? Why would you not be happy that I'm alive and I don't need to go back to that apartment? And somebody said, Victoria, you're missing the point again. You are a black woman, and you're trying to battle a white system. I still had hope. I still have hope. Because here is a proposal that I have for you in your cabinet. I'm not the only one who has been mishandled by our justice system. And I'm not even attempting to speak for anybody. All I'm saying is everybody's situation is unique, but in the end, we have all been robbed by white supremacy that infiltrates any community system that you can think of. So why don't we do this? I was thinking about this the other day when I said, maybe the marginalized people need their different justice system. How about you come in with a fine comb, well, not you personally, through the courts, rake through all of the complaints brought by people of color. Break through all of them so that we can start anew. So that this Black History Month will mark the beginning of a justice system for the marginalized people. Come through the records, and where justice was misplaced, help it find its home. And why am I suggesting this? I believe that if you set off a motion to audit the courts, then maybe that might minimize the corruption we have in the legal system. Because why would anybody try to rig the system when they know that, it's going to be audited and their mistakes are going to be uncovered anyways? Yeah, somebody might say, well, this has been happening. It has been happening before your video, Victoria. This has been going on for a while. The courts have always been audited, and what you're proposing here is not new. I'll explain in further detail why this is new. But the sooner that happens, the better. I will send you a letter in the mail, certified, explaining the details of this proposal. But I think it is time that all the interactions of marginalized people, all of their interactions with the courts, with the legal system, police, and everything, let's go through an audit and restore justice. I hope you will take my proposal into consideration. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for the family reunification process. I look forward to being reunited with my son, who left the country because our legal system has been rigged. The United States Constitution is often rendered clip art in many of our local courts, and I think that has to come to an end. Thank you for restoring integrity to migrant families. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Thank you, Mr. President.